Hey guys, what's going on? It's Michael from Anchored Hope Church, and I wanted to drop in and share a devotional thought with you guys today. You know, as you're kind of navigating through your week, there's a verse that came up in my devotions today that I found very helpful and encouraging for me, and I wanted to share it with you. And it comes from Hebrews. It's found in our New Testament. You know, Hebrews is a letter that a lot of people believe that Paul wrote because of what's in it and how it's written. But we don't really know who the author is because we don't really know exactly where it came from. A lot of people believe that Paul maybe wrote this letter and then thought it was maybe a little bit too intense because it was very much driven towards letting Jewish or Old Covenant people know what was up with the New Covenant, and it's pretty intense. But maybe he wrote it and stuck it away and said, I can't send this out, kind of like I am sometimes with my sermons. People can't handle this. But then somebody got it out, read it, and said, no, this needs to go out. People need to know this stuff. And so they sent it out anyway to the Hebrew people. But anyway, in this letter, a verse that's very helpful comes out. And I wanted to read it to you. It's Hebrews 10:25. And in Hebrews 10:25, it says, not giving up meeting together, as some of you are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. Now, a lot of times when we talk about this verse, we talk about how we should be getting together, how we should be having church, how we need to be meeting together. But we're kind of limited into what we can do right now. But that doesn't mean that we can't have contact with one another. We're still going to get together. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the next few days, about how that's going to look for our church. But we are still going to be together. We're still going to be connected with one another somehow. And you know what? We're going to see each other. We're going to be around our families a lot in the next few weeks. You know, a lot of you guys, you still have to go to work. And so you're going to be at work and you're going to be rubbing shoulders with your coworkers. You know what? You may be out getting groceries or supplies, and you might run into people. And you know, for me, every time I've been run into somebody, the conversation's kind of always been the same. Man, this COVID-19 thing is crazy. Man, this coronavirus thing, what are you guys doing? What do you think? And you know what? Our job as Christians, what Paul is asking us to do through this verse, what I think Jesus would want us to do, is that when we meet together, when we congregate together, whether that's online or at the grocery store, or at work, or even in our small groups, that when we talk to each other, we are encouraging to one another, that we are hopeful, that we are able to lift each other up and inspire each other, and to not be down, but to find our joy in Christ. And you know, in this letter, Paul says this is even more important as the day approaches. Only Paul really probably knew what he meant by that. Maybe he meant the day when Jesus comes back, or maybe he meant there was some day that was coming up for them that was very important. But for me, what it means for me today is that as the day approaches, you know, this thing could go on for a couple weeks, could go on for even longer, we really don't know. We're kind of in day 2 of quarantine, right? But you know what? As the days approach, as things get harder, as things become more difficult, and they might, it will be even more important that we stay encouraging, that we encourage one another as we communicate through social media, as we communicate through DMs and emails and phone calls, or even when we see each other face to face. It is important today more than ever, and as things are to come, that we are encouraging to one another. So, I hope if you are a Christian, that you live that out, that you would do as Jesus would do, that you would do as Paul would do, in which he learned from Jesus, to be an encouragement to others.